Everyone, it's Natasha Mott of Raising the Vibes Academy of Consciousness. And today I'm going to talk to you about the 10 symptoms, there's sometimes more, that you may be facing with regards to ascension. Now, the ascension process is as you're starting to awaken, as you're starting to expand and understand and get an awareness of who you are, the universe, the cosmos, and how we all fit into that. Now, there are sometimes as we shift in our consciousness, there are symptoms that we go through because it's not only happening on a spiritual level, but all of our bodies get kind of like changed with it, right? So as we grow, our physical bodies change, our mental bodies change, our emotions change. It's no different than when we're going through a spiritual awakening. So one of the symptoms that you might be going through a spiritual awakening is, and this happens with me specifically, is I get flu-like symptoms. So kind of like my sinuses run. It's a way of detoxing the body. Okay, so absolutely constant running my nose. So every time I've done kind of like a Reiki training, or sometimes even if I do kind of like ascension meditations where we're releasing a lot of old patterns and bringing in new ones, for me, it tends to be kind of like a spiritual flu. And how do you know whether it's a spiritual flu or a real flu is quite interesting, because if you don't have fever, but yet feeling a little bit kind of like, blocked up or a bit under the weather, that is most likely a symptom of ascension. Number two, tiredness. So not only are we not sleeping properly, but we're waking up tired, or we're sleeping through the night and still waking up tired, that means that there is some kind of vibrational shift that is happening to you, okay? So just being tired all the time, it's kind of like as we shift through anything, a lot of our DNA is being shifted and changed to be able to hold more light or whatever it may be. So it's kind of like when we go through anything, it's, we need that time to integrate. So it's very important to listen to your body and actually take that time to rest and just do what your body needs. So speaking of tiredness, the third one I'd like to talk to you about is a lot of us go through these waking up between 2 a.m. and 4 a.m. with ideas, or what I like to call downloads. I do have an IT kind of like background, so it's a downloading of ancient knowledge and wisdom or information, or, you tend to feel like you're doing a lot of kind of like work while you sleep. But the waking up between 2 and 4 is because your mind, like your ego's not in the way, you're sleeping, you've probably had enough rest to kind of like, just get that little bit of rest, and everybody else is sleeping, the world is quiet at that time of the morning. So you're more open to receiving more information. Now, you can tell your guides and you can stipulate that if this is making you extremely tired, that you need at least X amount of hours of sleep, because your body needs to function in the 3D world the next day. So, look at that. This is also a great time to have a journal next to your bed, to journal in any insight that you get, because as soon as you wake up, you tend to forget everything. The fourth one is headaches. Your brain is starting to create new neural pathways. So you tend to have headaches for no reason. That could be a symptom as well. Also, look at the general kind of, what's going on around you. First, you need to rule out logic before anything else. So for example, in Calgary, the weather shifts and changes because we're so close to the mountains, that is very common for people to get headaches when there's a shift in temperature. So I would first see if there's something happening around me before I jump to the conclusion that, wait a minute, this is an ascension headache. But check in on that. The best thing to do for that is actually really just drink water. But do what you do for your headaches, and that's the best. Memory loss, going through memory loss and is one of the ways that you also know that's coming in. So you're actually really starting to forget a lot of old information that no longer serves. And you're starting to use your intuition as really your memory. So we are all knowing. We hold the information that we need within us. So it's really just tapping into that. So there are some instances that there will be memory loss. And because you're also ascending, time becomes really, really, really weird. So sometimes you'll have these deja vu moments, and then you'll be like, wait a minute, I've seen this before, or I remember doing this already. And this is going to sound really woo-woo. Sometimes we straddle timelines, so we sometimes forget. We're just working on a different side of our brain when we're there, okay? Needing to change your diet. So this is also very important as well, because we're holding higher frequencies of energy. You'll start seeing that you want to change your diet in one way or another. Usually it's to eat lighter so that your body doesn't spend too much time digesting certain foods. So that is one way that you can, eat lighter. Sometimes we find ourselves wanting to eat less because we don't need that much food to sustain us as well. So that is a great way of kind of like tapping in. The other thing with regards to food and needing to change our diet is sometimes we will create allergies to foods that really aren't good for us either. Okay. So blessing your food as well, just to raise the vibrational frequency of your food, is also a great way of, accommodating the change in diet as well. For those of you that do Reiki, placing the symbols over the food, or just literally praying and being grateful for the food that we have, and just asking for it to feed and nourish your body, your emotions, and your soul. So that's one way, is that change of diet. You'll also start noticing that your relationships will start changing. So as we shift, because we are magnets to everything in our lives, we're magnets to the people we bring in as well. So as we shift, we try and drag them along with us, or they try and drag us into whatever direction that we're going in. And if it's not in alignment with us, more often than not, they will either start falling away, or they'll be like, you've really changed. And you're like, yep, I have. And I'm shifting, I'm changing, right? And that's okay. So it is important to grieve those relationships that you've lost and start the new chapter, because you will attract new people into your life as well, new relationships, new customers, new friendships, all the rest of that. So in the octopus method that I've co-authored with and Kellyanne Bass, we always talk about things happen in thirds. So 1/3 is leaving, 1/3 is staying, and 1/3 is coming. So there's this kind of like this shift and change of people, places, opportunities, everything, based on the decisions that you make. And as you ascend, again, we start looking for those people with like vibrations. And it's not that one is better than the other. We're just learning and expanding in different ways, okay? Number 8, you start looking and questioning, you need to be on purpose. So that's when we start looking at, am I on the right track? Am I living my purpose? What is the bigger picture for me? Why am I here? And you start looking at, what is my purpose, and wanting to serve on a grander scale. So that is another symptom as well. Okay. And then with that, we move into number 9, which is really increased self-awareness. So noticing when you are triggered, or what upsets you, what doesn't, what environments you're in, right? Starting to step into that space of, observation of old patterns and how they seep in and how they don't serve you anymore, right? So there's an increased self-awareness of what is going on and what you want and what you don't want anymore as well. And the last one, which is the 10th, there's many more, but I'm just sharing 10 with you today, is really wanting to reconnect with nature and reconnect with self, and really looking at that, spending time alone so that you can reconnect with yourself and with nature, to get back to the basics and get to know that, or feel that we are one with everything. We might be an individual drop in the ocean, but yet we are still an individual drop, and yet we are still the ocean. So we start to actually figure out and see what that feels like. And that is what ignites us as well. So we start realizing that everything around us is a reflection of who we are, and that the people in front of us, or the situations, we've called on them, and that we are them and they are an aspect of us as well. So that is an amazing kind of like awareness of who we are. But connecting to nature is of utmost importance when you're going through these symptoms. So give yourselves grace when you are going through these kind of like ascension, symptoms. It doesn't happen once, it goes as you expand and you ascend. So get to know your body, get to know who you are and what you're doing. And yeah, just try and enjoy it, and know that everything passes. And yeah, just take your time through it. And it is important to integrate everything that you have learned and that you are learning, because the integration aspect of it is just as important as going through the process in itself. Because if you don't integrate it, you will have to relearn it and go through it again. I hope this video has been helpful, and I'll speak to you all soon. Have a wonderful day.